say it was really an enriching trip, and it just, filled us up with a lot of inspiration and ideas. We will have some discussion right now, and people can ask questions, and we'll be happy to facilitate some answers for you, or at least make notes of them, and we can move from there. But in the beginning of the discussion, one of the things that one of the speakers that we had, the last speaker who had been with the Mondragon Cooperatives for 40-something years, the idea of what are the necessary conditions for starting cooperatives, he listed them as such. Feel the need. I think in Richmond we feel the need. We know we have high unemployment. Trust each other through the democratic process. We've definitely been working on the values of trust and community empowerment. Be realistic. You have to take your ideas and put them into the framework of what we can implement, and how we implement them becomes very important in the context of where a community is at, where what the market economy allows, etc. Cultivate strong relationships and connections, and that's the start of what we're doing today. So I'm just very, very pleased that we have such a full house, so many people that are interested in these ideas, and I very much look forward to seeing where we can take them. We know we have that spirit for change in Richmond and in our neighboring cities, and any ideas and questions need to be voiced so that we can move forward. So I would like to ask people to raise your hand. I'll call on you as you begin, but before, I would like to just announce that we have somebody from our Richmond Chamber of Commerce. Tom Waller is here, so thank you, Tom, for being here. All right, let's go. I think I saw the hand in the back first. Yes, if you could say your name also.
My name is Debbie. I have a business in Richmond. I was wondering about, I know the 5 times and 6 times the salary, but how does the ownership work? Is there a limit to the amount of ownership each person has? That's one question.
Could you repeat?
The amount of ownership. Is it all equal ownership?
Just one person, one vote.
So
yes.
So financially, and so the money, where does the money come to start? There's no ownership attached to the money that a cooperative starts with. Is that true?
It can start from a variety of ways. It can start with a loan that all the worker owners collectively own the debt, and they have to pay off the loan. It can start with grants. It can start with worker owners bringing in whatever money they have to put it in, and then that gets equaled out. But the way, as we understand it, and I see Bernard is here, who's also with the U.S. Federation of Worker Co-ops. He's much more of an expert. There are many people who are more of an expert, just but in broad brushstrokes. As the company makes profits, they're distributed to the worker owners. Generally, some portion of the money of the profits are put back in to develop the company, and some portion go into special savings accounts for each worker owner that they can then redeem if and when they leave the company.
So yeah, basically it's, people do get a salary, and it's very close in range. Some of the managers get, higher than the others based on more responsibility or whatever, but it's very close in equity. And a certain amount goes to this for innovation of other businesses, of new cooperatives to get created, and others gets put in a savings account for, when they retire, and it's an equal share of for each worker owner, the manager and the, someone at the lower salary gets an equal share of the profits divided. So.
Yes, I just want to make a few comments, and then I have a question.
You want to say your name, please?
Oh yes, my name is Gayle, and I've been I'm an attorney who's been representing worker cooperatives and writing about them for the last 20 years. Just 2 quick points. The operating principles of American U.S. cooperatives are set forth in subchapter T and the regulations to subchapter T, and they're very good. They give examples and the explaining principles. And in order to qualify for the favorable tax treatment of subchapter T, you have to operate as a cooperative, and the regulations define what that is. So if you're interested, people interested, Those are the principles. Also, there's been a lot of talk about cooperatives as being a mechanism of social justice. I see it as a mechanism of competition, of being a mean and lean way of operating a business, of being more competitive, of being more efficient, and having a distinct advantage in the marketplace. And again, I've written some articles about it where I've advocated cooperatives in a better way of doing business, especially when you're not involved in capital-intense business, when the business is dependent upon intellectual property. I mean, I just saw a business teacher factory was open with $2,000. And for reasons I will not explain now, but if people want to ask me, I could tell them why. But the third thing is I live in Richmond, and I live right off Blight Avenue. And where is Blight Avenue? It begins at Barrett Street on San Pablo, and it goes north. And you see one vacant store after another. And this is a strategic location. All you have to do is walk the street a little bit, and you'll see a sign pointing one way to Sacramento, one way to San Francisco. Everything within the interior portion of the Bay Area is going to be something development hot. It's going to be an area of strategic importance for a number of reasons. And I think we are wasting the opportunity to create enterprise in that area. And I'm wondering what type of collaborative effort can be done using such principles as whatever resources the city may have in terms of property, the availability of providing property, the startup businesses, along with a revolving fund of startup capital, which will be fully secured by whatever assets the company has. They have to be obligated for contracts. They have to submit a business plan in order to qualify. But I mean, there's a way to collaborate, to use a collaboration between the private sector who want to help, and they can help by providing this type of loan structure, and the public, which has the resources. And I think if you look down that avenue, there are a few bright spots. And I think if we could bring more enterprise there, you know, nothing succeeds like success. So when we look at Mondragon, Mondragon shows us that you can succeed as a cooperative for a long period of time and a large scale. But that's not directly applicable here. We have to deal with Blight Avenue first, store by store. And I think nothing succeeds like success. And what we have to start doing is working with some people, trying to find some way to bring incubator businesses. And there are plenty of them. I mean, we have emerging industries. We're talking about hydroponics. There's all kinds of things to be done.
Thank you. I think that's true. I think it's a much larger conversation, and we'll certainly want to have that conversation.
Well, actually, I was just going to say, I think we definitely should, but what I kind of wanted to do, because I mentioned this to Terry before the meeting, is before we have another question, maybe Terry, you could say a word about Arizmendi Bakery that you're part of, and any thoughts about opening a new co-op in Richmond. Did you want to just share a word or two with us on that?
Yeah, my name is Terry Beard. I've lived in this neighborhood for 30 years. I work in Oakland, which is that rental commute through the maze every day for no apparent reason. So I'd much rather work here, but it hasn't happened yet. Our co-op is named after the founder of Mondragon, although we don't use all the same principles as Arizmendi. For instance, we have a 6-to-1 or a 7-to-1 pay differential. We have a flat pay. For the first 6 hours you work there, it's an orientation, you're paid $10 an hour. After that, everybody's paid the same, like $20 an hour. We distribute, you asked about distribution of, well, you asked about equity, basically. So I guess the distribution of profit. The way we distribute ours, there's a million different ways to do things. And, you know, people just need to figure out what works best for them. The way we do it is we figure out the total hours that are worked in a year by everyone and the total dollars that we make in profit, and we split that up so somebody works 1,000 hours gets that portion. Somebody works 2,000 gets twice as much of that rebate, and that's averaged between $2 and $8 an hour. So effectively a pay based on $25 an hour, which is not a lot for a business owner, but it's a lot for dishwashing, and everybody there does all the tasks. So that's worked out well for us. We were very keen in the beginning. We started 14 years ago. We were a spin-off of the cheeseburger workers. We were very keen on not having anybody in control of the organization except us. So we went out to individuals and collected debt, not equity, but we collected loans from people until we had like $300,000 to start. And I would strongly recommend that for anybody who's thinking about a co-op, because we even, in that context, we had people who were trying to tell us how we should run the business, and we went, you don't get it. We just want your money, we don't want your money. So, what we have done for our development is we have an association of co-ops, the cheese board and ourselves.